Welcome back to the Big Lab podcast. In this episode, I speak to Fred. He works for an alcohol-free beer company, and we speak all about what it's like on social media trying to drive a new business. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you drop it a like. If you're new, subscribe, and I'll let you get on with the episode. Fred, welcome to the Big Lab podcast. How are we doing?
Yeah, all good. Thanks for having me on, George.
No problem. Quick one. Would you like to give yourself like a little bit of an introduction, who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Fred, so known as Shredathletics, kind of online. I started my online coaching business like kind of in the summer last year, which led me to go full time with kind of social media and stuff. I didn't realize it was going to be kind of as successful as it was. So I left my corporate job around October. And then alongside that, I also do a bit of content creation. So I also help Impossible Beer. So I've got them here actually. I do their
Little promo.
Yeah, I do their sort of content strategy, help with their social medias, and work with them as well.
So you started off working in a corporate job, and you started your online coaching whilst you were doing the corporate job.
Yeah. So so I was doing both. I was basically doing two jobs at once, which was kind of stressful. It was a lot at the time, but it was kind of worth it. Obviously, I kind of didn't really have much of a social life in the summer. I'd literally finish my corporate job, my day job, then in the evenings kind of coach my clients, do social media, upload my videos, edit all of them. So yeah, it was hectic, but it obviously put me in the position now, so I couldn't be more kind of grateful for that.
Yeah. Similar sort of setup that I have at the moment. I have my corporate job that I've literally finished about 15 minutes before this podcast. Yeah. I have my online coaching and obviously the podcast as well.
Yeah, what do you do?
Sorry, go on.
What?
I'm a project accountant.
Okay.
So I'm an accountant by day. What were you doing for your corporate job?
I worked in wealth management. So I worked for one of the large banks in the city. I moved. I was, because I'm originally from Jersey, and I was working in finance over there, and then I moved to London kind of year and a half ago. Kind of transition with work, and the idea was to progress in finance, get kind of a senior role there, because I loved it at the time. I did really enjoy it, but realized there's other opportunities, because you're kind of in like where I'm from in Jersey. Everyone kind of does the same job.
Right.
The finance industry is massive over there. Everyone kind of goes through that same path, similar path. You essentially work your way up. You go to school, university, graduate, and then you get a job or role in finance, and that's sort of it, to be honest. So I kind of did that initially and thought that's what I wanted to do, but then broke away kind of this last few years, and it sparked because of my social medias, because of the success of my social media. So so that was kind of like, I always wanted to do something different, but I just didn't know what, if that makes sense.
So was the reason that you left your corporate role because the social media was doing so well, or was it because that was always the plan to sort of move away from it anyway?
Yeah, I think my dream was always to kind of work within the fitness industry. I think I just didn't think it was going to be possible. Like, I didn't really want to be like an in-person PT or anything like that. I wanted to do social media. I like video content creation, that kind of stuff. Over lockdown, I started my TikTok. That kind of blew up, did really well. And then I kind of always knew there was something in it. Like, I knew I could monetize it. I knew I could do something from it. But sort of didn't really act on that or try and monetize until a couple of years into making videos online. So it was always in the back of my mind, and it was always something like I kind of prioritized. I always wanted to make sure I was like prioritizing making videos. Often on the weekends and stuff, I'll make sure I was like all prepped for the week, even when I had work during the week and had a really busy schedule. But because I just knew there was something in it, but I wasn't sure what. And then yeah, it wasn't until like a year ago I started to monetize it, and then my Instagram grew and stuff, and I started getting brand deals, and then realized that there was a lot of opportunities to make money online and do other things. So that's when. That's when I just thought, well, maybe why not? Even if it's for a few years, I thought, it might not be the best long-term plan. I just don't know what's going to come out of it. But while it was working, I just thought it's the best kind of move.
Yeah, you might as well make the most of the social media growth that you had at the
Yeah,
time. So
exactly.
you've
Yeah.
grown your Instagram to about 100K, isn't it? How big are you on TikTok?
So my TikTok was like the initial success. So that I'm on like 220 now. Um,
Wow.
but that kind of grew over lockdown. Essentially, it was obviously a lot easier when it first came out. Like there was a lot less creators on the
Yeah.
platform. Um, Particularly all of us like TikTok creators within the gym community, we all knew each other. Like there wasn't many of us making videos. Um,
Right.
so there was a lot less competition. It was kind of like if you weren't shit, you'd basically go viral, like essentially like that in 2020 anyway.
Yeah.
So like yeah, we all kind of capitalized on that, and then recently it's become a lot harder. But still, you still got a huge audience in front of you. You've got all these people that follow you, so you're giving them value every single day. So you may as well help them either on a one-on-one basis. I know people do kind of group coaching, or like try and monetize your following through like brand deals and stuff. So there's definitely a lot of different avenues you can go down. But at the start, it was just a case of being consistent on the platform, giving a lot of value to my followers, and just helping people in a real way.
Yeah, I think I followed you on the back of potentially one of your recipe videos,
Mm.
actually. Come to think of it, we've been following each other for, I think, about a year or two, haven't we? Um, would you say there was any one video that sort of blew up that sort of started it, or was it just consistently posting?
So on it was different on TikTok and Instagram. So Instagram was a bit more of a grind, but TikTok was like, yeah, it was a recipe video. One of my first few videos did really, it got like 800K. It kind of blew up. And then on Instagram, it was basically last summer where it went mental because I had one video that got like nearly 5 million views, and then straight after that, I had like almost every video was getting like millions of views. So in the space of like a couple months, I grew like 60, 70K. Um, and that's kind of how the platform works in essence. You're just providing value to everyone every single day, and all it takes is
Yeah.
one video. Like I remember James Smith did it's James Smith, that PT guy who always swears. He did a
Yeah.
post about it where he literally, it was one post that pretty much took him to 1 million followers. So I mean that's kind of why I always encourage people to make videos and just have a crack at it, because even you're always kind of one video away from getting that success going viral, and it can transform your life as it has done for me, and you can build businesses off the back of that. You can monetize it really well, or even if you don't want to monetize it, it's still just like nice to have a platform to speak out and have a voice.
Yeah, it seems like TikTok is a lot easier to go viral on than Instagram. Instagram seems to be a bit
I think
dead
I think it
quite a
I
lot of
think
the
it
time.
changes. I think it changes all the time. So definitely
Yeah.
initially TikTok. I think now they're almost kind of on a level playing field. I think they're a lot closer than they've ever been, particularly with Instagram Reels and that feature being rolled out, and like actually being pushed at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I caught it last summer, where they were almost trying to replicate TikTok, and they're basically both competing for attention, right? So if they've seen the success of TikTok, and they've got all the eyeballs, they've got all the attention, so all the ad revenue from all these businesses is shifting to TikTok. They're going to do everything they can to replicate that. So they then started really just pushing accounts for whatever reason, and then that's when one of my videos got like 5 mil, and then I gained tens of thousands of followers just from that one video. And then it's a case of like actually providing value, keeping hold of those people, and making sure
Yeah.
that you're providing good content, educational content, whatever your niche is, on a daily basis. So it's like, yeah, you get followers from one or two videos maybe that pop off, but to actually like build a business off, you need obviously integrity. You need people to trust that you know what you're talking about, and then you can actually kind of monetize and help people.
Yeah, you've got to keep riding that wave, haven't you? Keep it going
Yeah,
and
exactly.
constantly providing that value. Like you can't just, like you say, build a business off one video. It's got to be consistently
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah,
providing
yeah,
value to the people who are watching it.
yeah.
So with that being said then, so you've obviously got that personal side of things with your social media. How did that then come onto you now being the content lead for
Yeah, so
Impossible
that's
Brew?
a good question actually. So that, as I was kind of alluding to before, I always knew there was like kind of something to come. There's going to always be something that come about from it. Like I was just consistent. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and even I started in May 2020 on TikTok, posting videos. Just like, even they were really bad videos, but just like getting that consistency going, like even tweaking things, making them a little bit better, understanding what does well, what doesn't, why it does well, why it doesn't. And then off the back of my kind of Instagram success in the summer, I would get contacted by brands kind of all the time, either for like paid stuff or free products. They just kind of DM you. And then one of the brands that contacted me was Impossible Brew, which are basically, they're a non-alc enhanced beer, essentially, where they're trying to replicate the relaxed feeling or like social feeling, and we call it like the social blend, that you get from drinking alcohol, but essentially a healthier version is 20 calories, but you still get that same. It's like that two beer feel that you essentially get. But anyway, it was Sam, our like head of marketing, and he essentially reached out to me on Instagram DM, sent me a load of beers, and I was like, yeah, cool, sounds good. And then I couldn't believe how good the beers were. And I kind of thought about this before even joining Impossible Brew. I had like kind of almost like a business idea myself, where I was like, I've had success on social media. I've tried and tested hundreds of videos. I kind of know what does and doesn't do well on the platform. Kind of when I edit a video, sometimes, you're creating a video either to get new clients and it's not going to go viral, or you're posting a video purely to just try and like make it hit and like really try and connect with as many people as you can and really go on a wide audience. And that's when you're also trying to grow your following. And I'd obviously tried and tested it so many times. And I think because TikTok was so up and coming, there was that complete disconnect between brands and creators. Like there was obviously like social media experts or agencies that obviously help you run ads for brands. They'll help brands push, say, paid content where they'll target that specific audience. They'll run an ad. Everyone's had it where you're talking about something or a specific product, and then it pops up on your screen for an ad. And that's obviously like one side of digital marketing. But the other side is obviously the organic side of things. And TikTok was so up and coming that there was definitely like a knowledge gap there, where creators who had tried and tested the platform for hundreds and hundreds of videos knew exactly how it worked. But a lot of brands were trying to market their business, but they were just doing it so badly. So I had an idea in my head where like I almost I knew I wanted to quit my corporate job, but I wanted to diversify my incomes. I wanted to make sure that I had a lot of different streams so that I was safe to leave, because, it's not the best time in terms of the economy. The rental market is crazy. I live in London, prices are pretty mad. So I needed that safety net, and I just wanted a lot of different streams, because, brand deals can be very one-off. They're not something that's great to rely on. My coaching business, it was going well, but, it can easily, clients drop off. You don't want to be like begging for people to join your coaching service. You ideally want it to be organic, and it also depends on the growth of your own social medias as well. So I was thinking, maybe I'll contact brands, and I was thinking I could have a portfolio of brands where I have like 10 to 20 brands that I work with, and I charge them like a few £100 a month, and I just basically make videos for them on their platform, and nothing's paid. It's just purely organic. And then, I was even going to think about reaching them out and not charging them a penny, just seeing how it goes, and if it goes well, then I join. So, but anyway, it ended up being completely different. So Impossible Brew sent me out some products, and I absolutely loved them. I then was thinking about, placing an order myself, because they sent them out for free and I loved them. And I was like, I want some more. So I said to Sam, I replied back and I was like, I'd love to actually buy some. You don't need to send me some again. Like, I really like the beers. And then I got thinking kind of again, and I was thinking, I looked on their socials and they weren't great at all. Like they were posting very like forced advertisement, like kind of that classic business-based content that just doesn't really connect to their audience. It doesn't build that personal brand. Yeah. It's not good for organic reach. Yeah, it'd just be literally like a picture of the Impossible Brew can, just saying, buy or new release, that's it. It's not going to be engaging. You need to focus on, at the time, obviously video content's being massively pushed. You've got to focus on that. So I messaged Sam and I was like, I'd love to, like, on a trial basis, potentially make, videos for your TikTok. I've seen you haven't posted in like a year. do you need help with that? And then I think luckily at the time they were kind of looking for someone similar. They were looking for someone to help with that kind of stuff because they've got a really small team, and we still do to this day. Um, and then he was like, well, the founder, Mark, is actually coming to London this weekend. Do you want to meet up with him, have a chat? And then we essentially went for a coffee, spoke for literally like hours about the brand, his vision, and I kind of provided my value and what I feel like I could help with him. And essentially there and then he shook my hand and we arranged a deal, and he said, look, I want to support you. I want to make sure that you can leave your corporate job. I can see that you're passionate about it. You know what you want to do. And he was like, I'll support you. I'll help you out. Like, we got on really well. I think for him, he massively is worried about expanding the team because he wants to keep hold of that culture and make sure that, make sure that we all get on really well. We all kind of connect, because it only takes one bad person in a small startup for it to completely ruin everything. So the fact he met me and stuff, I think he was confident that I was genuine and that I could help. And then literally I met up with him on the Sunday, went for coffee, and then the following day I handed in my notice at the wealth management firm I worked at without any written contract or anything. I just had so much confidence in him. I really believed in the product as well. And then that was it. And then I kind of left in around October time.
I think that shows how genuine you are to the sort of brand, because quite a lot of so-called influencers these days, they'll take any sort of brand deal on like a one-off basis. You know for a fact they're never going to buy that product. You'll never see it again on their Instagram other than that one paid post.
Yeah.
So whereas you've obviously received that free product and then were willing to buy it, and then you've had one meeting with the guy who owns the business to then hand you notice in the very next day.
Yeah, exactly. And
it shows that you obviously cared about it.
I think they saw that as well. And it started from me as well. Like, it wasn't like they reached out to me or they were actively looking. So like, I almost put the groundwork in, and I love the product so much. Even to this day, I massively believe in the product. Like, I think it's going to hopefully take over the world. You know, it's going to be one of the biggest non-alcs, and it's going to hopefully transform the way people drink. So for me, it was just a massive belief in the product, and also Mark, the founder. I think he's someone I massively look up to, and like, you almost see him as like a mentor figure. And he's even younger than me, so we're all like a really young team, and so that's kind of, it's just inspiring to be around people like that, and you learn a lot. And you know, it's just like, then if ever I wanted to do something myself, or you know, you're part of something that's growing so fast, it's really exciting. And I just was so sick of that kind of slow corporate environment where you just kind of, you know, you have to do certain things, or you know, pretend you're working at certain on certain projects or doing things just to get promotion once a year. And I just didn't want to do that. I've always been kind of like itching to do something more, and I just couldn't stand the pace of a corporate environment where, you know, it could take 10-20 years to get to where you want to be.
I kind of get that. We were saying before, like, I'm a project accountant by day. I totally understand the whole corporate side of things being a little bit slow at times, and yeah, you have got to sometimes wait around to get that promotion and the right timing and all that. So I can imagine being in a startup, it's quite exciting. What is like the thing that you look forward to most about working for Impossible then compared to your corporate role that you did have?
It's just 100 times better. I mean, it's what I want to be doing every day, for one. Like, you know, I was doing this kind of content creation, video editing, social media research, whatever you want to call it, for years for free beforehand. Like, I felt like I'd studied the different social media platforms, how they've evolved, you know, successfully grown my various accounts. So, yeah, it was something I was doing anyway, and now to be paid for it, and also to be part of something that I think will be truly massive and take over the industry, is incredibly exciting. So I think the fact that I'm doing exactly what I want to do every single day, and also part of a product and startup that I really, really believe in. And even like, I've had loads of opportunities come about since Impossible, where they've seen the success of our TikTok. Because I've since coming on, we've grown the account from 0 to 60k followers in a few months on TikTok.
Wow.
So it's been successful as well. And yeah, even since then, I've had loads of startups kind of reach out to me, ask if I do, consultancy or paid work, or if I could do some videos for them. And I always say no. Like, I truly believe in Impossible. I believe in Mark, and it's just something that, I feel really loyal, and I feel part, and it's due to Mark as well. He makes me feel truly part of it. And so I guess, yeah, having that kind of freedom really kind of motivates me and makes me work harder. Whereas I found in the corporate environment, it's just very restrictive. You do your one role, you specialize in that, and there's no room or scope for creativity, which is something that I kind of need in my life.
Yeah, I get that completely, because obviously in a corporate role you're sort of defined by your job spec, whereas I guess as a content creator you've got pretty much free reign to go and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about you want Impossible to sort of take over the market. I actually did try and buy one of your sample packs so I could have one whilst we were on the podcast, but they were all sold out. So
right, yeah,
I guess that's a good sign.
Yeah, we've been on pre-orders at the moment, the last month or so, because we've had like really successful last few months, and largely due to the content. We've been expanding the team a little bit. We've been running and boosting the ads a little bit more on like Meta and stuff. So yeah, like kind of we had our most successful month ever in January. The business is growing rapidly, so I kind of joined at the right time. And don't get me wrong, it's stressful at times as well, because I promised that I could deliver, and so far we've been growing the social medias, we've been doing well, but it could easily just not work out. You can easily flatline. It's very unexpected. You don't know what's going to happen. So I think getting myself involved in all aspects of the business, like I'm up in Manchester at the moment. I live in London, but I'm up in Manchester at the moment, in the office up here, and just like kind of working closely with the guys and helping where I can kind of strengthens my role in the business, I guess, because when you're in such a small team in a startup, you kind of have to do a bit of everything.
Yeah, definitely. So what sort of measures are you taking at the moment then to make sure that it doesn't flatline?
Can you see me okay, by the way? The lights have come off.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So measures, I just kind of go do everything I can each day. Like, you could have a video that just pops off, and it could take you half an hour to an hour. And, kind of my goal is to do one high quality video a week on TikTok and Instagram. And, that could be it. I could have done a really successful video, it pops off. And that's good. But obviously, you're kind of measured more on the output rather than the number of hours you put in. Whereas, sometimes it'll be like working all day, every day to try and get this one video to do well and get the edits perfect. And, Mark oversees it. He might not be happy with some of the edits and things. So that can take a lot longer. So I guess, constantly like being curious, constantly like trying to maximize creativity, constantly trying to push the boundaries, and really try and take advantage of the like ever evolving industry, and making sure that you're doing everything you can to keep up with that. So that's the stressful part, I guess. But then it's something that I love it. So I don't really care. It doesn't feel like work, to be honest.
Yeah, there's that old saying, isn't there, that when you find like something that you enjoy, it'll never be work because you enjoy it that much.
Yeah,
if you're turning up every day with that freedom.
A lot of my mates think I'm unemployed, so they think that I don't work. Right. But I mean, like, it is work, but it's just, I guess, yeah, when it's something you're truly passionate about and you feel like you would do it anyway, or you do it for free, then it is a different story. But then, I guess it's very unpredictable. Like, the corporate environment, that you're pretty safe and you pay the same every single month, whereas social media is very up and down.
Yeah, definitely. So you've mentioned quite a lot about Mark, the founder. I actually saw the episode where he was on Dragon's Den. Mm-hmm. Was that before or after you started?
So that was before. So that's the other thing as well. So like, even today, we get contacted like every single day, people asking either to invest or to work for us. And he went. So the business has been going 2 years. He went on Den a little too early, to be honest. So didn't receive investment, but that was after a year of the business. Back then he was on his own. So it was just him That was January 2021, I think. Um, and then he employed his brother, his best friend from school. Um, they do like account executive and head of operations. And then in that summer they employed Sam, who was the outreach, the marketing guy who reached out to me, and then me now as well, who's like do content strategy, content lead. So there's still only five of us. But yeah, obviously when he aired on Dragon's Den, like that was a crazy day. Like in terms of people just so interested in the product, and so I think Mark was kind of wary of that people were just like riding the hype rather than like actually genuinely interested in the business and the product. So whereas I kind of reached out to him and spoke to him at a quieter time maybe, and he just kind of believed in me and went from there.
Almost right place, right time then.
Yeah, it was definitely lucky. Like I didn't think that was, yeah, I didn't think it was going to happen, and it's working out really well at the moment. But yeah, I guess the kind of grit side of things, and then also like my own outreach definitely facilitated getting that over the line.
Yeah, I imagine just being on the Dragon's Den alone would have been a big sort of increase in exposure,
Oh yeah,
even though
yeah,
there
yeah.
was no investment.
Yeah, yeah.
I think he says at the end, like of the episode, that he knew it was sort of too early to go in there to begin with, but he sort of gained a lot of experience from just being on the show.
Yeah.
So, like you say, you had a load of people and you still have a load of people reaching out to sort of work for you and invest. So it may not have been a bad thing that there was no investment that came from it.
No,
and it doesn't say that there's not going to be in the future.
and actually most of the successful businesses on Den actually get like all rejections. Like the most successful, the only one that's been successful from the yeses, I think, is that Reggae Sauce. A lot of them, a lot of the successful ones don't actually get investment either. For whatever reason, Dragons might not have the level of expertise in that niche, or don't feel like it's the right time. And I think for Mark it was a little early, but doesn't necessarily mean the end of the company by no means. And I think Mark always says it himself that it's like it's almost like he expected to get to the point we are now, but then just kind of pushed, almost like fast tracked us a few years. So it was like that sudden growth, and then kind of maintained that, and now we're getting that another bump again from the growth of the social medias and sort of like expanding the team a little bit.
So tell me more about what's happening recently, because I know you've been away to Croatia and I know you've been at some events in Manchester. So what's new for Impossible?
So we recently visited a brewery out in Zagreb. So there's like quite a famous brewery over there called Garden Brewery. And typically in Croatia, the water quality is unbelievable. It's like way better than the UK. So it's much more cost effective to brew beer over there. So yeah, we went to kind of scope that out. It was kind of interesting for me as well, even to chat to some of like the head brewers over there. Because also like it's kind of weird because my degree was in chemical engineering, which is like large chemical processes, and this obviously like predominantly like fermentation. It's exactly that. So it's like I obviously initially wanted to completely get out of that industry. I didn't really enjoy my degree that much. I just kind of got through it, and now it feels like we've gone full circle. And now I was learning all about that, and it kind of gave me flashbacks to my degree. So so it was good to kind of meet those guys, learn more about it. So there's been a bit of travel opportunities with Impossible. I'm now up in Manchester. Like I regularly come up either to just film content, or recently the last couple of days there's been like quite a big trade show over here. So a lot of like startups. We didn't pay for a booth, but we just had a ticket and we went. But a lot of startups will kind of showcase their business. They'll like buy a little stand, and then there'll be typically a lot of like retail buyers that will come to the event. They'll chat, and then that's how you might start a negotiation and get into Tesco's, Waitrose, or there'll be those buyers that'll be at these kind of trade shows. So I think the plan is potentially pay to have a little stand either in the summer or next year's one, just to increase exposure. So it was interesting to kind of scope that out and see what others are doing in our market.
Yeah, because going back to the Dragon's Den episode, I remember Mark mentioned about trying to get into the lights of Mark.
Yeah,
I remember
magic with
he
this.
mentioned about trying to get into retailers, but it wasn't the right time at that point. So
Yeah,
it seems that Impossible is now coming closer to that time to try and get into the retail world
yeah.
as
I
well as
think I
online.
think it could be this year, but we're definitely not in a rush at all. Like the nice thing about selling purely D2C just online is that you have almost that direct relationship with all your customers. You know exactly who's
Yeah.
buying from you. You know your demographic. We have a survey at the end of every single purchase, so we can see, direct feedback, what we can change, what we can improve, any new products that they want us to launch. So having that direct relationship with our customer base just strengthens us even more, I think. And so then if later in the year or next year we then pitch to retailers, um, we're in a much stronger position because we've got all our numbers, our revenue, everything kind of in front of us. We know who to sell to. We know exactly in terms of, for my job, like in terms of like marketing to people online through social media content. It makes it a lot easier. So I think there's definitely no rush, but it could be end of this year or next year. We'll see.
Exciting times.
Yeah, yeah,
So obviously, going into that retail space, there's a lot of big companies. You've got the likes of Budweiser. I think Corona have the alcohol-free one. There's all the big hitters have basically got these zero alc beers now because it's
yeah.
becoming obviously a lot more
But it's
more
actually
trendy.
it's actually a lot harder than you think as well because all of those are actually owned by like one or two companies. So there's
Yeah.
AB and Bev who own Corona, Bud, all of them, and then there's obviously Brewdog that do like a non-alc range. So people think it's like these individual beers that they're their own companies in their own right, but it's actually owned by one
Yeah.
umbrella.
So what is going to make Impossible Brew different or better to this
It's
massive business?
it's because most people don't really understand why they drink. Like a lot of the non-alc space are missing a huge trick where they feel, you know, people are drinking because of the taste of beer, which is not the case. Most people drink for the feeling, for the relaxed feeling, for the buzz, to get pissed on a weekend with your mates. You're not drinking because it tastes really nice. You would choose an ice cold, I don't know, Diet Coke or whatever. You wouldn't so that's why I think the non-alc space is not that big or as big as it could be because they're focusing completely on the wrong thing. And we're currently really the only beer brand that's focusing more on the feeling that you get. So replicating that as long as being as well as being non-alc. So I think that our niche and our product is why we'll win.
It's a fair enough point. Like I've had a few non-alc beers before, and they taste nothing like the real thing. So
No.
like that's what's put me off quite a lot. Like they taste disgusting. Like I went to Tough Mudder about last year and the year before, and it was like a vegan non-alcoholic beer that they were giving out, and I literally took one sip and had to chuck it away. Like it tasted
Yeah.
nothing like beer whatsoever.
Well, yeah, that's the other
But
thing.
I've
Like,
heard Impossible Brew
yeah, yeah,
actually tastes pretty nice.
yeah. You can look at our reviews online. Like, it tastes so good. Like, I wouldn't be working for them if I didn't believe in the product. I think it tasted good. Like, the whole reason I reached out to them again was because how nice the beers were. Like, I finished the crate that they sent me within like a couple of days. I couldn't believe how good it was. So I think, yeah, we pride ourselves on the taste, and that's also why we'll do really well and kind of dominate the space. I mean, yeah, you can look at our reviews online. Like everyone's super positive about it. It's definitely the best non-alc on the market, in my opinion.
So how many do you have a week then? How often are you drinking
Um,
Impossible Brew?
well, I was actually pretty annoyed because mine's been due to ship to my house for literally like a few weeks because obviously we've sold out of stock. We've been on pre-orders. I haven't actually managed to
Yeah.
get hold of some. So, but normally when I have a stack, I'll literally have a couple every night.
Wow.
So
Fair enough.
I have like my set routine where because the thing is as well when I work from home, it's hard to differentiate like when to relax, switch off, when to kind of
Yeah.
yeah, to take a break from work. So it's almost that mental cue for me where I'll have an imposter brew after I finish work, I'll chill, and it's perfect.
And do you notice like the difference? Like, do you feel a lot more relaxed once you've had one?
Yeah, so you feel, yeah, definitely. You get like a bit of a buzz, and obviously no hangover, um, and yeah, you can still be really productive every single day. And for me, like almost like I'm working like every single day, because I love it, and so I want to maximize productivity in the day. So this like helps me have that balance because I'd still it doesn't make me miss drinking because like I've definitely reduced my alcohol consumption as a result of it. I think we're trying to like ride that wave of a lot of people are kind of taking on like even not drinking for the full year or definitely reducing their consumption. And so I think it's definitely only going to grow, particularly for the younger generation coming through because they're realizing that they want to prioritize their health over just getting pissed every single weekend and rinse repeat and feeling shit on Monday.
Yeah. So, say if you had, like you say, you get the buzz when you have one. If you have enough of them, do you get like the similar drunk feeling, or does it not get to that extent?
Nah,
Like, is it
so
just that you get more of
out,
it's
yeah.
just a buzz?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like that two drink feeling almost, like just a little buzz, and
Right.
then the more you have, it just feels the same, it just caps out.
Just
Yeah,
stays.
yeah, it stays the same, which is good because yeah, you don't want to be like feeling you want to still be able to work and function and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, you definitely do feel it. You have to try some.
So would you say it was similar to like almost like having an energy drink or pre-workout before the gym? That sort of
Nah,
like
nah,
buzz?
nah. It's not
No,
got caffeine in.
not
So
that hectic.
there'll be some
Right.
beers that put caffeine in their beers. So there's also a growing space of like caffeinated lager, where
Yeah, I've seen. That's why I said because I've seen a couple of them.
yeah, because they essentially try and replicate that buzz feeling and make you feel even more energized, so that you don't have to drink as much, I guess. Um, but
Right.
ours is definitely more the relaxed feeling. Kind of, you get a bit of a buzz, but it's not like you want to smash a workout. Like I wouldn't have this
Right.
before the gym or anything. Yeah,
Pre-workout.
yeah, it's definitely not like that. But you definitely feel it 100%.
So in terms of, because obviously, like health wise, like alcohol affects your sleep quite badly. I assume Impossible doesn't have the same impact.
No,
It,
it actually
oh,
helps. It actually helps your sleep because it's
yeah.
got like ingredients like 5-HTP, which people would typically take to
Okay.
relax, reduce anxiety, improve sleep. So there's actually a few kind of nootropic ingredients that will improve your sleep quality. I mean, Mark says that he gets some like really vivid dreams, but I've not experienced that. Like if he has too many, he dreams a lot. But yeah, I've
Right.
never really experienced that. I just feel like quite relaxed, and it almost helps me wind down before going to bed.
See, I've taken 5-HTP before, and I can, yeah, I've had some very, very
Oh,
vivid
you have,
dreams off the
yeah,
back of taking 5-HTP. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like almost to the point where I wake up and I'm like, did that actually happen?
Oh,
Or like,
really? Yeah, no, I never get that.
yeah, yeah,
I never get that. I kind of wish I
yeah.
did, but I
I've
don't.
only had it a few times. Yeah, maybe you need to up your dose a little bit.
Yeah. To be fair, I had about because I in the office we just kind of drink them once it hits about 2 3
Right.
p.m. And yeah, yesterday I must have had like 6 7 cans, these 330 cans, but still no vivid dreams. So I don't know. I must be doing something
Uh,
wrong.
Maybe you're just not like a hyper responder to
Yeah, I don't know.
5-HTP,
Yeah, maybe not.
potentially. So is there anything that we've obviously touched on the side of Impossible getting into the retail space. Is there anything else that we should look out for this year with Impossible? Is there anything coming up?
I think the main strategy is just like focus on content, focus on organic reach, really just trying to get increased word of mouth, increase cans in hand, have as many people drinking them as possible, um, and then yeah, then hopefully just like increase distribution, either retail or other distribution like pubs and things like that potentially. We don't know because obviously it just changes all the time and it's growing so rapidly that it kind of it wouldn't surprise me if it happened, within a couple of months, or we might be patient with it and wait till next year. So I guess that's what I signed up for. That's why it's super exciting to be in this space. Um, but I guess yeah, main things is just kind of content, and then potentially potentially new products. We'll kind of experiment with that. We'll see, and then go from there. Really.
Yeah, I've seen your content whilst you're out on the streets, handing the cans out, getting people to try it. So it seems to be a pretty good way of obviously getting that response straight away in a video form. So like, it's not, because I imagine there's a lot of companies out there that fake reviews. Like there's bots that can create reviews fake, and then whereas you guys are getting actually out on the street, getting cans in hands, taking videos whilst people are trying it. So it's a genuine response to the beer.
Yeah, I think that's what we always try and do and express in our content, is make sure it's kind of as genuine as possible. Because I think it's so obvious to tell when things are fabricated, when things are just fake. And, people aren't stupid. And it's just, even when people like act out street sampling stuff or those kind of videos, it's just so obvious. So I think that's
so easy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why we try and maintain our kind of authenticity, and that's kind of our brand strategy for content, because people want to watch like real reactions or entertaining videos. It's just so easy to see through people who just do these like kind of fake reactions and reviews.
Well, that's it. Like you get people going up to people in the street saying, make sure, like you say, that you like this product, but obviously that person's not an actor.
Yeah, exactly.
They just came off the street and they're trying to fake a review. So like you say, you can see through it straight away.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to wrap this one up. So like, where can we find Impossible?
So
first of all,
the handles are Impossible Beer on Instagram and TikTok. And then obviously, our website is just type in Impossible, would be the first thing that comes up. We're just selling in the UK at the moment. So I guess going forward in the next couple of years, we hopefully to kind of expand our distribution. Particularly with the TikTok, we've grown a huge like US audience. Like our following is predominantly in the US. I think because they kind of like the idea, or typically respond better to the kind of idea of feeling that buzz whilst not drinking alcohol. I think US people just love that kind of stuff. So we're kind of trying to grow our outreach there, potentially, start selling over there in the next couple of years. Definitely check us out. And then, if you are in the UK, just give it a try for sure.
I think, like you say as well, though, the US market, I think, grew a little bit earlier in the zero alcoholic sort of drink range before the UK did. So that might have something to do with it as well.
Yeah, I think it is also just people respond better to new concepts in the US. I guess it's a little bit more entrepreneurial as a nation as well than the UK. You're kind of, the drinking culture is still so massive in the UK. People, we still get comments and stuff of people who are particularly probably sort of like older generation that kind of turn their nose up at non-alc. They don't really see the point of it. They want their strong beers, and that's fine. We're not trying to change everyone, but the people that are looking for an alternative, want to be healthy, want to prioritize their health, want to still enjoy, socializing, going out with friends, get that same replicated feeling, then they're the people that we want to target and really try and market our message across to. So I think the main priority is just getting it out there, trying to advertise it, trying to get cans in hands. And so, every single day we're trying to maximize that and trying to get that out there.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a really strong team with a message, a plan, and a strategy to get it out there.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to do really well. And finally, where can everyone find you, Fred?
Yeah, so Instagram, TikTok, Shredathletics is my handle. They're kind of my main two platforms. So follow me on there. Send me a message if you've listened to it, and I'll reply. Yeah,
I'll get all your Impossible and Shredathletics in the show notes below as well. So if anyone's struggling, the links are below.
Sounds good.
Fred, thanks very much for coming on the podcast.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me, George. I appreciate it. It's actually the first podcast I've done, so it was good fun.
I'm privileged to have you on as your first. If everyone can leave a review below. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you drop a like, and if you're new, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.
Thank you very much.